Hello Year 8. Today we are talking about time. Now time in minutes and seconds is based on the number 60, which is a little bit different from the other units that we've been looking at in this topic, which are based on numbers of tens, hundreds and thousands. The unit of time called a day is based on how long it takes for the Earth to spin on its axis. And the unit of time called a year is based on how long it takes for the Earth to orbit the Sun. So just for something a bit interesting here, did you know that when describing what time of day it is, we can use AM or PM? Now, AM stands for ante-meridiem, which is Latin for before noon, and PM is post-meridiem, which is Latin for after noon. Now, the solar calendar, which we use, was introduced by the Romans during the time of Julius Caesar, which recognized that the Earth takes about 365.25 days to orbit the Sun. Okay, so there's some conversions that you need to know. You need to know that a year is 12 months, 1 week is 7 days, a fortnight is 2 weeks or 14 days. 1 day is 24 hours, an hour is 60 minutes, and 1 minute is 60 seconds. Now, to help you convert between some of those ones, we have this diagram here. So we've used diagrams like this before. If I want to go from days to hours, I follow the arrow and I would times by 24. And similarly for other places around that diagram. Let's have a look at the examples. I want to convert the following units into the brackets shown. So for question 1a, I want to convert 2 days into hours. So if I start with days here, to get to hours, follow the arrow, I need to times by 24. So all I do is I start with the number 2 because I had 2 days. I times that by 24, which means that would be 48 hours. Now, this next one, part B, says I want to turn 42 months into years. Now, that's not actually on this diagram here, but if we look just a little bit higher up on the page, months into years is up here. There is 12 months in a year. So if I have 42 months, I will need to take the number 42, and if I divide that by 12, because there's 12 months in a year, that will tell me how many years it is. So let's type that in. 42 divided by 12 is 3.5 years. Okay. Question 2. We want to change 5:30 p.m. into 24-hour time. Now, if the 12-hour time that we have been given, which is this one here, is PM, all we have to do is add 12 to the hours to change it into 24-hour time. So if I go 12 plus that 5, that makes 17. So 17 hours and 30 minutes. So 17:30 would be the time in 24-hour time. Okay, in question 3, we want to go in reverse. If I give you a time in 24-hour time, here it is, I want to turn it back into 12-hour time. Now we start by looking at the first 2 digits. If that is above 12, it means that we are in PM time. So I do the reverse of what I did last time, is I want to take 12 off that number. So 20 take away 12 is 8. That becomes the hour. The 15 is the minutes. And because I had to do that little subtraction, we knew that that was PM time. So 8:15 PM. Okay, one more thing to talk about in this section is Australian time zones. Now, the Earth, the whole Earth, is divided up into 24 time zones, one for each hour of the day. Time is based on a place called Greenwich. Okay, this place is very close to London in the United Kingdom. The world time zone map can be seen in your textbook if you want to see the whole map, but we're just going to look at this little map down here of Australia. The time at Greenwich is called the Coordinated Universal Time, or UTC, or you may also hear it being called the Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. We live in New South Wales, which is 10 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. So you will see that written like this here. So here in New South Wales, the GMT, or the Greenwich Mean Time, we are plus 10 hours. That means that we are 10 hours ahead, because plus 10, we're 10 hours ahead of London, or the Greenwich Mean Time. So you can see that there is some slight changes in the states of Australia, and what we want to do is we want to find some different times. So here is our question. If it is 11:30 a.m. in Erina, now remember that Erina is located in New South Wales, what is the time in Perth? So Perth, we need to know a little bit of geography here. Perth is over here in Western Australia. So if New South Wales is a plus 10 Greenwich Mean Time, Western Australia is only a plus 8, which means that they are 2 hours behind us. Okay, so if it is 11:30 a.m. in Erina at the moment, I want to take 2 hours off that, which means it is only 9:30 a.m. in Perth. Okay, what about Darwin? Now, Darwin is located up here in the Northern Territory. Now, they are at Greenwich Mean Time plus 0.95 hours. Now, remember, we're plus 10, so they're half an hour behind us. So if it's 11:30 a.m. in Erina, it means it is only 11 a.m. in Darwin. What about Melbourne? Melbourne is down here in Victoria, and Victoria has a Greenwich Mean Time of plus 10. We also have a Greenwich Mean Time of plus 10, which means we have exactly the same time in Erina as they do in Melbourne. So that means the time in Melbourne is also 11:30 a.m. And finally, if it is 11:30 a.m. in Erina, here in New South Wales, what is the time in London? So London, remember, is where the Greenwich Mean Time starts from. That's basically the 0. We are 10 hours ahead. That's what the plus 10 means from Greenwich Mean Time. So all we have to do is take off 10 hours from 11:30 a.m. to find the time in London. So if I subtract 10 from that 11, that makes 1:30 a.m. in London. That's it.